We're going to be looking at Philippians 2, and this first video is verses 1 through 4. In context, we see from 27 to the end of chapter 1, Paul had been talking in the earlier chapter 1 about his suffering, but the joy that he was holding during that suffering. And he says in verse 27, only let the manner of your manner of life be worthy of the gospel of Christ, so that whether I come and see you or am absent, I may hear of you that you are standing firm in one spirit with one mind, striving side by side for the faith of the gospel. And then goes on to explain that they too are going to be suffering for Christ, and that's a gift. And there we end up with chapter 2. Here's the context. Paul sets up an if-then scenario in verses 1 through 4. He says, if there is any encouragement in Christ, any comfort from love, any participation in the Spirit, any affection and sympathy. So these are all things that come through God and work into the people's lives. And he's necessarily saying, yeah, this exists. So if this exists, then do something. What? Complete his joy. Being of the same mind, by having the same love, by being in full accord in one mind. And then he gives a negative example. Don't do this, but instead do that. So contrast. Do nothing of what? Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit. Well, what do you want us to do? But in humility, count others as more significant than yourselves. And then he does that sort of pattern again. Let each of you look not what? Only to his own interest, but what do you want us to do? Also look to the interest of others. It's significant to see here it says, look not only to your own interest. He's not saying completely go up yourself to have no self-interest, but he's saying in humility, count others as more significant than yourselves. Look to the interest of others. So we have this if-then. If these things exist, complete his joy in Christ by doing these things. And then he's going to give us a really good example that epitomizes this sort of behavior, and it's the behavior of Christ. And that's verses 5 through 12.